It was an announcement that sent chills through the retail industry. Macy's would close 100 stores by the end of next year. That's about 15% of their locations, but the well-known retail institution is far from alone. Earlier this year, Sears announced it'd be closing about 50 stores, while Kohl's looks to be shuttering around 18 of their underperforming sites. And JCPenney plans to mothball 7 stores, on top of 74 they've closed over the last 2 years, all victims of a huge surge in online sales. In Boston today, most shoppers said they still like to go to actual physical stores, but explained when going online works better for them.
I think I bought a purse online. I knew I wanted it, so I bought that.
Books. That's pretty much it.
Something from like Bed Bath & Beyond or something like that.
I like shopping online, but she makes me get out of the house every once in a while, so I'm forced to go to these stores. But I like them.
And the future looks bleak for brick and mortar. A report from Cambridge-based Forrester Research expects online sales to hit $530 billion by 2020. That's about a 57% jump from sales of $338 billion last year, which raises the question, can old-fashioned retail survive, particularly amid concerns about a lack of a level playing field? Joining me are John Hurst from the Mass Retailers Association and Jeff Neville, Vice President of Boston Retail Partners. Thank you both for being here. Let's start with Macy's in particular. Is Macy's closing 100 stores because they are beset by external forces that they can't control, or are they paying the price for bad decisions that they've made over the years?
Well, I think they're adjusting to reality. Look, where the double-digit increases are coming to are from really the smartphone. It's going online, and you know, Macy's is going to continue to see growth in their stores, but they've got to cut back on costs. If they're going to see 10% growth online, you know, they're going to have, and only 1 or 2% growth in their stores, they're going to have to cut back on some of their costs and make sure they're serving their customers the way they need to be served. And a lot of it's online, and a lot of it may be delivering, making sure that they're better integrated, making sure that Macys.com is delivering goods to their stores and consumers are going in there and picking up goods that they're buying, and also hopefully doing some impulse buying while they're there.
Jeff, is that right? I read a quote from an industry analyst who said basically Macy's let a lot of their stores go to pot and it ceased being a pleasant experience to go into them and shop. So is that part of it?
It's part of it, and I think that if you look at the segment prior to this, their customer has a unique set of expectations now. The technology changes with smartphones and with online shopping has brought a broader set of expectations to every single customer, and Macy's is being forced to be able to meet each one of those expectations, whether it's through that connection of online to brick and mortar, or whether it's through value-added services that they may have to add.
Let me ask you about the value-added services piece, because I confess I don't know a ton about the retail sector, but as I was reading up on it today, one argument I kept running into again and again was that for brick and mortar stores to survive in the age of Amazon, they need to provide highly personalized service or in some other way a unique, distinctive experience that you're not going to get at your run-of-the-mill place. Is that what anyone has to do today to make it work in a physical store?
Well, you have to get a reason for your customers to come in. And, you know, whether it's some entertainment or better service, you know, something that they don't see online. Because the one thing that the stores will always have that it's very hard to duplicate online is the impulse buy. So you need to really nurture your customer, have them come in, maybe give them some sort of entertainment, some food, and other reasons to come in. And hopefully while they're in there, they're going to buy some things that they wouldn't necessarily buy if just clicking through your site.
It seems to me like you can replicate impulse buys online. I mean, I get pop-up ads for, you know, if I've looked at a given shoe, I'll get a comparable. Not that I do that while I'm at work, of course. But so what are some examples of places, brick and mortar places, Jeff, that might be providing a richer experience in a way that is working, either local or national?
Sure. Well, let's use the shoe example and running shoes and footwear. There is a series of smaller regional retailers who in that space that are providing a broader set of assortment even though they're in a smaller footprint, because they're able to offer ordering from their store and sending items to their customers' home. They're providing a community of experience, whether it's nighttime runs or whether it's building a community through social integration. And they're also training and investing in their associates.
Would this be a place like Marathon Sports, for example?
Okay. Exactly. And that associate is one of their most valuable sales tools and one of their most valuable pieces of their retail organization. They keep the conversation going with the customer.
And they also, I know from having shopped there in the past, they'll have you, walk or run in a given shoe. They'll size up your stride, your biomechanics, and tell you what works for you and what doesn't. John, I know, and I'm not sure if Jeff agrees, I want to hear about this, but I know you think that Beacon Hill has dropped the ball when it comes to creating a more level playing field for brick and mortar on the one hand and retailers like Amazon on the other. Right. What is it that you wanted to see the state do in the first half of this legislative session, and what do they fail to do?
Well, Adam, it's important that government has a playing field that is level for all types of sellers, no matter if you're shopping online or shopping, on your main streets or in your regional mall. And the sales tax, we've been talking about that for 2 decades now, that the sales tax should apply the same way whether you're online or in stores. And this year we didn't even get a sales tax holiday, 2 lousy days when a lot of online sellers have a 365 day a year, a sales tax holiday. And then there's also the blue
When I shop on
laws.
Amazon right now, am I paying sales tax or not?
It's Amazon you are, because they are now employing people in Massachusetts. But that's really the trigger, whether or not there's tax nexus in the state. And for too many sellers, right there on your smartphone, they aren't collecting the tax.
And then I stopped you. I interrupted you when you were talking about blue laws.
Yeah, the blue laws. We've been talking about that for 40 years now. Only in Massachusetts and only for retailers do you have to pay premium pay on 52 Sundays and 6 holidays.
Is that time and a half?
That's time and a half, and not only does that not occur in other states for retailers, but it doesn't happen for the online sellers. In fact, the legislature just last month made it clear that online sellers like Amazon don't have to pay those time and a half fees.
Jeff, do you see the legislature's failure to act on that stuff in a regulatory way as problematic like John does, or are you not too concerned about that?
I think from a promotional opportunity standpoint, it certainly is problematic. You have retailers who are not seeing the sales lift that they're getting from these promotions. From a competition standpoint, more and more online retailers are having to take sales tax, as well as you've got a company like Walmart who just bought Jet, and now Jet, one of their
Amazon
value
competitor,
proposition was that they didn't take the sales tax. So as they're integrated into the Walmart infrastructure, the question of nexus, what is Jet's nexus? We're seeing from our client base less conversation about sales tax as a competitive disadvantage and more conversation about how can we engage the customer.
All right, Jeff, Neville, John Hurst, we got to leave it there. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.